This video is proudly sponsored by DigimonCard.io for all your Digimon card, deck building, deck list, card pricing, and discussion needs. Hey everyone, Egman here with another video, and BT8 is coming out in just less than a month, which means it's going to get canceled as soon as I say this, but we have a whole new batch of mechanics, cards, and a lot of just cool new things that are on the horizon for it. So I wanted to make a video just kind of going over the kind of new functionalities and stuff. There are a lot of questions. Also, if you guys have any questions, please ask them in the comments. I'll do my best to answer them for you. Bandai has also put out some good Q&As on their Facebook too, so I'll have links for that as well. And if I make any mistakes in this video too, I'll have a pinned post to correct them, just because these are new for me too, and I want to make sure this is a good resource for anyone who's looking at all the new cards and kind of archetypes and mechanics that are coming with BT8, so and the new starter decks as well. So we've got three pretty big ones: Multicolor, which is moderately new, the DNA Digivolve, and the armor and armor purge and stuff. So we're just going to kind of go through those, and there's also links in the or like timestamps if you guys care about just one of these. But going into it, so multicolor cards, these are like barely new, but they are pretty impactful. The idea is it's a card that has two colors, hence multicolor. Nothing too crazy though from a mechanic sides for this. It's just more of it opens the window for a lot of interesting interactions, especially since a lot of cards are looking for only blue cards or looking for green cards and stuff. So a blue-green card would satisfy that reaction for it, which is cool. We've kind of seen like a little bit of it where we have like Shakuamon from like set 2 or whatever set it was from, where it on the board it represents a yellow and blue Digimon, but nowhere else, right? And so these cards represent that entire thing. The only, I'd say, like interesting thing is specifically for option cards. Option cards that are two colors need to have both colors on the board to activate their effects. So you can have like a blue-green Tamer, for example, this Davis and Ken out on the board, and so you can play Megadeth. You have the requirements for that. Though in security, you do get to just activate it for free, like you can any other option or whatever their security effect is. But you can activate it despite not having the color requirements for it if it hits in security. So that's kind of like the only hang up for these are option cards. Anything else kind of makes sense. If something's looking for a blue card, and as far as I know, there's nothing that restricts it to only blue cards or like a mono blue card. A blue-green card or any multicolor card will satisfy that reaction. Also, if you're digivolving on top of things and you need like a blue Digimon to do so, a blue-green would be able to. So that's just the idea for it too. And I also just kind of want to mention these guys too. We've had cards like this before as well. They're kind of just cards that digivolve on top of two different colors. We haven't really had rookies with that, so that's kind of like one of the new things. Specifically, we have like this Vmon that can go on top of a blue or green Digi-Egg, and this Lotmon that can do the same on a yellow or purple Digi-Egg. The only thing I wanted to mention is that these guys don't count as both colors though, so Vmon is still only strictly blue. It's not blue-green. You'll see cards that have dual colors will have so on the bottom of their cards as well. But this is still a blue card, and Lotmon's still a yellow card, even though it can digivolve on top of two. So I just wanted to make sure that was clear. And also, if we look at just the Vmon effects, so you can reveal the top 4 cards, add 1 2-colored blue card among them to your hand. Place the remaining cards. So this can obviously get a Megadeth or a Davis or any other like blue and other color combination, but it can get mono blue cards, right? So that's kind of like the distinction for it. Most of it's pretty, self-explanatory by reading it, but there are these kind of like tiny things for it. So now that we've explained multicolors, the two other kind of mechanics we're talking about today are strictly multicolor centric, more or less, so we're going to talk about it. So DNA digivolving is probably the most complex thing we're getting. It's probably like one of the most complex mechanics in the game as ready. So there are a couple of things I want to go over and make sure you guys understand. It is a little it's not super intuitive at first, but it makes sense kind of once you go through it a little bit. There are some interesting mechanics that happen when you do the DNA Digivolve too. And again, I really recommend going to the Bandai website too and just reading through their Q&A to make sure there aren't any edge cases. But the short of it is that you kind of just take your two Digimon and you put them together and you make this new Digimon, right? So you'll see the cost for both of these. They do have their devolution costs, but there's also, they have a line that says DNA Digivolution for a yellow level 5 and a purple level 5 for Massamon, and a green level 4 and a blue level 4 for Dino Beamon. These are kind of their quit, and it's 0. I haven't really seen any DNA Digivolve. I haven't gone searching for it, but most of them are 0. but the idea is that, you know, obviously it's circumvented by having 2 Digimon out to do these effects and everything. Also, to kind of go over it too, the color require, like the way that the colors are listed is actually kind of important. We'll go to this next one. So we've got this Petriform. It has a DNA Digivolve for 0 on top of a blue level 4 and a green level 4, right? So to do it, you have, let's say, our level 4 XVmon. Additionally, both these have to be in the battle area. They're not from hand. They're not from your opponent's side of the board. They're not in your breeding area either. These both have to be played out to be able to do the DNA Digivolve. But you have, let's say, this XVmon out and the Stingmon out, both in your battle area. You can DNA Digivolve, so you have the blue XVmon on top of the green side, and so you have this big stack here that is blue on top and green on bottom, and then you just put all the sources as they already are on top of it. So you'll see this Petriform, it has, 5 sources on it, so big, huge, unruly stack, but then you have this DNA. It's a regular Digivolve, so you do get to draw a card, and then also you can activate their when Digivolving effect for this guy too. So that's kind of just like the basic for it. There are a couple of interesting kind of mechanics too. So if both your cards are suspended, if one of them are suspended, it doesn't matter. They all come in unsuspended for this guy too. You also, if you just like hard cast the Stingmon, if you already have the XVmon out, and then you do the DNA Digivolve, you can do that. Also, it can attack the turn you do this, even if both these cards are hard played the same turn, and you still have memory to just do the Petriform. You do get that, and it can attack the turn it DNA Digivolves. That's something unique too. Also, all effects that happen or that were affecting these cards go away. So any DP pluses or minuses it had, any like security attack buffs, any new keywords it had, all those go away, including when attacking once per turns, and any once per turns, essentially inheritable. So let's say you swung with your XVmon, and then you activate your Upamon effect, and then you DNA Digivolve into your Petriform. You still have your, you can still swing, and you get to use your Upamon when attacking, because it's a new line. So the once per turn refreshes. That is how it's been explained to me. And so 99% that's true. If that's wrong, it will be like the top comment, like pinned comment. But my understanding is that's how it works. Any once per turns refresh when you do these DNA Digivolves. So really, really interesting cards. I hope, and there are a bunch of different cards that are coming out from the set specifically for it. Obviously, we do have our 2 new starter decks that focus around the whole Imperiodramon and Massamon lines too, which do have that DNA Digivolve. So really cool mechanic. I think it looks really fun. It'll be really interesting to see how it develops and everything else. So if you guys have any more questions on this specifically, let me know again in the comments, and I'll make sure to answer any questions. So that is that guy. And then lastly, we do have these new armor and armor purge kind of abilities. This is an infographic that Bandai made and put on their page, but essentially the idea of it is that when this Digimon would be deleted, you trash the top card to prevent deletion instead. So that it's kind of like a weird protection, and so you pretty much de-digivolve when it be deleted, but you still get the Digimon you have. Unlike DNA Digivolving, you have all of the same effects are still on it. So if you had any DP reduction on it, that goes to the card lower than it. If it had like security attack +1, it had reboot for the turn, something like that, you got to keep all of those skills and then kind of go from there. So yeah, for example, like that, you just get to keep their abilities. So the best way to get rid of these, and like the kind of obnoxious way to do it too, is that if you give something a negative DP, so for example, let's say you have your Submarinmon, you give it -4k DP, so it activates its armor purge, you get to keep that -4k DP on it, which means that if you go into the one underneath it and it had 3 DP, then it just dies. So like that's like the best way to get rid of these armor purge. Give it like a minus DP, and then like if it goes to 0, chances are the card underneath it also has less DP than the card on top of it, and just get rid of it. So that's the idea for it. The other kind of thing to do with this is that they also have kind of like a specific way to Digivolve on top of them too. So we do have like this Vmon, for example. Both this Flame Dramon, our Light Dramon, their original or kind of standard devolution cost is a level 3 for a cost of 3 that's red or green respectively, which Vmon is neither of. However, it does have like right there the Digivolve 2 for Vmon, so it doesn't care that it's blue, even though like the original or like hard Digivolve cost is 3 specifically for red or green. Blue one's fine. It just cares about the character name, and you can kind of go from there. So that's just the idea, and you kind of go from there. And kind of like a better example too, let's say you have your Flame Dramon, you Digivolve on top of your Vmon. It has plus 3k DP for the turn, and you swing in. And like, let's say you swing into security and then it dies in security, you can activate its armor purge, and then your Vmon is suspended still, but it also has a plus 3k DP for the turn. So it's a 5k, even though that probably won't do much because it's probably just suspended and you can't attack with it again. That is kind of how those effects work. So I think that's really all I had to talk about all these mechanics. I know that is a lot, but it should be somewhat clear and kind of going for it. Honestly, something I'm really excited for are just the fact that we do have multicolor cards, which means we can have like a lot of like creative deck building kind of things, and I'm really excited to see what we got from there. So let me know what you guys want me to cover first. If you guys want me to do the Mastamon or the Imperiumon starter decks, we're probably going to cover each deck and have like, you know, the standard deck and then like maybe like an evolution of the cards inside there. I think both are really strong and going to be really viable for the meta coming up anyways. And we are going to cover both, but just let me know which one you want me to cover first and we'll kind of go from there. Also, I should have said this at the beginning of the stream, but this Friday and going on, I will be testing BT8 on my Twitch channel. So if you made it this far, you probably should be following me on Twitch because this is a long rambly video when it comes to this kind of stuff. So you must like hearing me talk, and we'll play some BT8 and it should be a good time. So that's going to be it for me. Thank you guys so much. Again, any questions, please let me know. I'll do my best to answer them, and that's going to be it for me. So again, thank you guys, and I'll catch you all next time.
Damn it. Damn it.